Welcome to One Police Plaza for this important Vision Zero announcement about motorcycle safety. I'm Transportation Commissioner Rodriguez on behalf of Mayor Eric Adams. Let me first acknowledge all of our guests today. NYPD Chief Rivera, thank you for the great job that you're doing in transportation. DMV Deputy Commissioner Owen McShane, representing Governor Hochul's Traffic Safety Committee. Members of the Motorcycle Advisory Council, the whole team, including today's speaker, TK. I also want to acknowledge another members of the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee joining us today, State DOH Deputy Regional Director Mike O'Donnell. Today's Vision Zero event is specifically about how we keep motorcycle safe. The message is clear. New York City is a great place in this region to ride a motorcycle. It's a nice view that people can enjoy, and there's so many New Yorkers and visitors who enjoy riding the motorcycle, but most of them, they do it right. They have the license, they respect the law. There's a percentage of reckless one, and those are the ones that the NYPD will be going after. But today is about highlighting the importance to recognize those who ride the bike properly and safe, and also about how others who like to ride the motorcycle, they also have to follow the law. Last year, we had several Vision Zero successes. Among our successes, we saw a record low pedestrian fatalities, and we also built a record numbers of protected bike lanes. In those two areas, in 2023, we had the lowest numbers of pedestrian fatality of the last 113 years in New York City, when the nation had the higher numbers since the 1980s. But also, we built 32 protected bike lanes last year, larger than the numbers of protected bike lanes built by all largest city in this nation together. But the news was not all good. In 2023, we also saw a record numbers of motorcyclist deaths. We saw 55 fatalities of people riding motorcycles. And 55 fatalities is 55 too many for Mayor Adams, for Commissioner Caban, for Chief Rivera, for myself, and for everyone. Each of them was a family member of someone who loved them, will never see them again, and now miss them forever. Can we please give those riders a moment of silence? Thank you. The good news is that we think we can help break this particular cycle of traffic violence, especially as we enter the warmer weather motorcycle season that began on May 1st. We know some of the underlying problems. Many of those problems got worse during the pandemic, and just as we saw on reckless and high-speed driving, high-speed motorcycling, and as the NYPD knows and our speed cameras confirm, driving became popular during COVID. Much of the problem comes from motorcycles who are not properly trained or qualified to be on motorcycles, which, as we all know, can reach very fast highway speed, making riders very vulnerable in a crash. Of the 55 deaths I just mentioned, only 13 riders had a proper license to operate a motorcycle. So there's going to be some opportunity for those that doesn't have the proper skill to be part of the training that we will speak about it later on. So that's why I'm so glad that we have a state DMV here to explain how you get qualified to get a proper Class M motorcycle license. DMV can also speak to getting a vehicle registered and inspected, which every single motorcycle in the state is required to do by this week before getting on the road. So we have seen more crashes involving unlicensed motorcycles who are not legally qualified to drive. And we have seen more crashes involving unregistered motorcycles, which are uninspected, uninsured, and not ready to be on our roadways. To push back on these trends, we knew we needed a plan that used the Vision Zero signature combination of educational and enforcement. First, on enforcement, I will defer to my good friend Chief Rivera to speak about what this team will do to keep motorcycles safe this spring. I want to especially thank his team from the Highway Patrol for being with us today. Second, before Chief Rivera will address you, on education, with the media hub, we are reminding riders of some of the legal obligations for motorcycles that we just discussed. We are reminding motorcyclists how they ride safe with the campaign you see over here on the boards. These are just smart tips for anyone who wants to enjoy getting on their motorcycle in the spring. We will put these tips out on social media and use them as part of our Motorcycle Advisory Council network. We are also reminding drivers to look twice motorcycles because drivers in New York City are responsible to keep all other road users safe. And that, of course, includes pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. And speaking of Motorcycle Advisory Council, our partners are also hosting a skill practice tomorrow on Randall's Island. We will be out from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. and encourage riders, both those who are licensed and those without, to come out and practice life-saving skills. You will be on a closed course that will allow you to become a safe and a smart motorcyclist, or simply a better one. You can find out more about all these activities at nyc.gov motorcycle. Finally, I always want to acknowledge all our Vision Zero team partners, including at the Motorcycles Advisory Council, those folk who here today know on NYPD motorcycles. Thank you for all the volunteer work that you do and have done for many years to make New York City street a safer place for everyone. I also like to thank my amazing team at DOT, by Special Assistant Commissioner King Wiley Swart, who is here with King. Thank you. She's the one who is leading not only this initiative, but King is the Director of Educational at DOT, that they work with hundreds of schools and with the deliberitas and many other sectors. And the newest members of Vision Zero team, Erin Lafarge, who is here. A lot of experience coming from the DA. Also, she is on a great acquisition that we have at DOT leading our Vision Zero team. So if the person in charge, and Erin is a motorcyclist also, so if the person in charge of safety at DOT can hop on the bike, you know that it can be done safely. And now, let me say in 1 minute few words in Spanish because that's my native language. Hoy estamos aquí para decirle a todas las personas que usan motores que montarse en un motor requiere tener licencia, que la policía y nosotros estamos haciendo un trabajo para asegurarnos dos cosas. La parte educacional, que ellos sepan de que tener una licencia de manejar un carro no es suficiente, que ellos tienen que aprender, tener una licencia apropiada, que también vamos a estar trabajando con el sector de nosotros que trabaja con educar a las personas que usan motores, que lo haga de una forma segura. Mañana a partir de las 10 de la mañana tendremos en Randall's Island una oportunidad para que las personas que quieran mejorar su destreza, que quieran aprenderla sobre cómo montar un motor, que vayan a Randall's Island a partir de las 10 de la mañana. Lo segundo, tenemos una campaña aquí visual que estará en las redes sociales, educando a todas las personas que usen motores, saber sobre cuáles son sus responsabilidades. Por último, también reconocemos de que en el 23 tuvimos el mejor año en los números más bajos de peatones muriendo, pero también tuvimos muchos motoristas que perdieron la vida. Muchos de ellos eran personas que no tenían la licencia apropiada sobre cómo montar un motor. Así es que nosotros tenemos un gran trabajo que hacer bajo el alcalde Rodriguez, el comisionado Cabán, Chief Rivera, que ahora le hablará a ustedes. Vamos a seguir trabajando para que las calles de Nueva York sean calles seguras para todos. El mensaje final, la responsabilidad última está para las personas que manejan carros. Le pedimos también que aquellos choferes que anden en los carros siempre vigilen para proteger y asegurarse que aquellos motoristas que andan en la carretera también sean protegidos. Y las personas que anden en motores que saquen su licencia apropiada. Now, I give you Chief Rivera from NYPD.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning. We stand before you today with an important message about motorcycle safety. Motorcycles, with their unparalleled sense of freedom, are more than just a method of transportation. They represent a way of life for many. However, with this freedom comes great responsibility, the safety of riders and all others who share the road with them. A responsible rider knows that they are not invincible. Riders must commit themselves to prioritize safety above all else. They must wear appropriate protective gear. DOT-approved helmets are required by law. Riders must obey traffic laws and continuously hone their riding skills through education and practice. Remember, being a skilled rider not only enhances enjoyment of the road, but also increases the chances of arriving safely at your destination. Yet safety isn't solely the responsibility of riders. It's a shared responsibility with law enforcement, stakeholder agencies, advocacy groups, and of course, other road users. The NYPD is committed to enforcing traffic laws and holding all road users accountable for their actions. Drivers, you must see riders. Look twice before you turn and change lanes to ensure the road is clear. Together, we can create a culture of mutual respect and understanding on our streets. Let us not forget the sobering statistics that remind us of the importance of motorcycle safety. In 2023, New York City recorded 55 motorcyclist fatalities, an all-time high. The risks associated with motorcycle collisions are real and often devastating. Behind these numbers are individuals, friends, family members, and loved ones whose lives are forever changed by the consequences of unsafe riding. Therefore, we ask riders to pledge to ride responsibly and uphold the law. You must be licensed, and your motorcycle must be registered. Prioritize safety above all else. By doing so, you not only protect yourself, but also contribute to a safer New York. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Inspector Luron Hall, the commanding officer of the NYPD's Highway District.
Good morning. My name is Inspector Luron Hall, and I'm the commanding officer of the NYPD Highway District. First and foremost, I want to thank the Chief of Transportation, the Department of Transportation Commissioner, and all of our state and city partners who are here today and that tirelessly work on the mission of traffic safety. As we all know, May is the Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, and we're all here to talk about motorcycle safety tips that we would like to share not only with the riders of motorcycles, but also the motorists who they share the road with. First and foremost, we would like to advise all motorcyclists that they need to know their motorcycle and keep it in good condition. First and foremost, riders need to read the owner's manual, right? This owner's manual is going to provide the motorcyclists with the information that they need to better understand how to properly use and maintain their motorcycle. We also want to recommend that motorists start with the right motorcycle. That's for them. You want to ride a motorcycle that is suitable for your experience level. And then also, we preferably want you to use a motorcycle that has an anti-lock braking system. Be familiar with the motorcycle controls, and what I mean by controls are going to be the handlebars, the clutch, the brakes, and all the instruments utilized to show you where the direction of the motorcycle is going, i.e. the direction signals. Before you ride every single time, you want to check that motorcycle. You want to check the tires and the wheels. You want to make sure that you have the good air pressure. You want to check the thread on your tires. You want to check the controls, as I mentioned, to make sure that they're working and operating correctly. You want to check your clutches, your brakes, your lights, your batteries, and the fluids that are in your motorcycle. That's going to be the oil, the coolant levels, and your fuel. As it was stated before, you need to wear a DOT-approved helmet. This is going to prioritize safety and your visibility on the road. And of course, you want to wear protective clothing. No matter what speed you're operating at, riders who wear the right helmet are 3 times more likely to survive head injuries than those that are not wearing helmets at the time of a crash. You want to wear leather or reinforced jackets for extreme protection. You want to wear pants, boots, or shoes that cover the ankles. You want to wear goggles if you're wearing a helmet that has no face shield. And then, of course, you want to wear gloves. In addition to those clothing that I mentioned, you want to also wear reflective strips on your clothing and or decals on your clothing and on the motorcycle. This is going to provide for extra visibility, especially at riding at dark hours. No matter how hot it is outside, shorts, a t-shirt, and or sandals is just not appropriate riding attire. You want to drive defensively. You want to watch out for, damages in the roads or any obstacles that you might encounter. You want to avoid riding in the blind spots of cars and trucks. Preferably, you want to ride in the center of the lane. You want to flash your brake light when you're looking to come to a stop. This is going to have motorists that are behind you key in that you're about to slow down. Always have an escape route in case a motorist violates your right of way. And also, you want to plan ahead. You want to know your route. You want to know locations where you possibly may need to rest at. And you also want to take a look at the weather in case if it's going to rain, you may want to decide not to ride on that particular day because we know that the rain is going to make the roads a lot more slipperier. You also want to avoid distractions while riding. Don't utilize your cell phones. Believe it or not, we have people that eat while riding. We don't want to do that, right? We don't want to have any unnecessary conversations while we're riding and avoid playing loud music. As was stated before by by Commissioner of the DOT and also by Chief Rivera, you must obey the rules of the road. This includes traffic control devices. You want to have a motorcycle license. Getting a motorcycle license is paramount. That means that you study the manual, which is going to provide you with the rules of the road, best practices, and safety tips for riding. You want to get riding lessons. Just because you pass the exam, of course you're going to have to take the road test. But in order to pass the road test, you're going to have to take riding lessons, and you want to continue to practice. It's very important. And last but not least, you never want to ride under the influence of alcohol or drugs or otherwise be impaired. All right? So these are some tips that we have for you. All right? So please, especially in this month of May, where we all want to be aware of motorcyclists out there, just please be careful. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Being here today, we representative from Governor Hochul from the Department of Motor Vehicle. He said it showed also how close Mayor Adams and the governors that are working. It will make a big difference. So now let's hear from the Department of Motor Vehicle Deputy Commissioner Owen Machine, represent the Governor Hochul's Traffic Safety Committee.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for attending today. And as it was mentioned previously, this month is motorcycle awareness. And it's important that we work together, as you see up here, working together with different agencies to try to get the message out for education and enforcement. I'd like to thank the other agencies that are here today, New York City DOT, NYPD, the New York City Vision Zero team, the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, the Motorcycle Advisory Council, and our partners from Department of Health. when it comes to motorcycles across the state, some of the trends that we're seeing are changing. We're seeing a lot more education and enforcement out there, but there's a need for some additional things. Motorcycle riders continue to be overrepresented in fatal crashes. So far this year, we've seen 31 motorcycle crashes across the state with 2 fatalities in just the beginning of the season. As was mentioned previously, you're pulling your bike out for the first time. Take advantage, get it checked out, check it out yourself before you put it back on the road. A reminder that all our motorcycle registrations expire April 30th, so please make sure you renewed your registration. Looking at some of the stats, we have the Institute of Traffic Safety Management, part of SUNY, analyze all our crash data, and they provide some interesting statistics for us. In 2022, the last full year available, motorcyclists were 22 times more likely than passenger occupants to be seriously injured in a crash or die in a crash, and 4 times more likely to be seriously injured. We're starting to see more and more interactions, and a lot of it is not the motorcyclists, it's other drivers on the road who are not aware of them. So as you're driving on the roads, be alert, look over, check for motorcycles in your area, especially your blind spots. Some of the stats that we see, it's not just stats. These are people's parents. These are people's kids. We really need to work together to try to address this issue, and I really appreciate the fantastic cooperation we're seeing with agencies across the state. As mentioned, I work for DMV. I'm a deputy commissioner, and I also oversee our Highway Safety Office, the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. Our goal in that unit is education and enforcement. We do that with grants to train drivers, to train people, but we also do it through enforcement, targeted enforcement for speed, DWIs, and work with our partners to try to keep motorists and motorcyclists safe. So as we're celebrating this month of motorcycle safety, take the extra minute to look around as you're driving and keep our motorcyclists safe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Owen. And as the weather is becoming warmer, as I said before, many communities also, they know that there's always experienced a lot of reckless motorcycles in some part of the community, people wheeling and speeding. And the message to those communities that the NYPD is doing their part when it comes to enforcement. We want to be sure that they know that DOT, NYPD, and also the governor's office, we're working to be sure that enforcement will be seen in our communities. At the same time, we also want to acknowledge that we have so many great motorcycle motorcyclist individual in New York City. One of them is the DOT Motorcycle Advisory Council, who also they do a great job. We work with them, we plan with them. All their members, they have their license, they know how respectful they are as they ride the motorcycle, and they are the role model for the rest of New Yorkers that they would like to take into the motorcycle and enjoy the nice weather. So I also want to get Michael Rock to come here and say a few words on behalf of the DOT Motorcycle Advisory Council.
Good morning, all. To Commissioner, to all the dignitaries, and especially to
Your name?
Michael. My road name is Rock, and my last name is Whetstone. That's WHETSTONE. You're welcome. And especially, I'd like to thank our Assistant Commissioner, Kim. That is our sister. We originally came, and I'm so saddened. My wife has to work because it was through my wife that we originally got in touch with DOT, and Kim was that person that we got in touch with back in 2018, and we started this work. And since then, we have brought on a whole bunch of other people who are working with us. I am actually the ABATE president. ABATE is American Bikers Aim Toward Education. So you'll see that on my shirt. This year, we'll be doing our 3rd annual 5-borough ride, and that'll be on June 8th. But let me just say this. American Bikers Aim Toward Education. We educate the bikers. We educate the police officers. We educate the community. about motorcycling. Often you don't know why bikers ride particular ways. Not all of the bikes are liquid cooled. Some of them are air cooled. So you'll find different situations happening. Please look twice, save our lives. That's our motto. Look twice, save our lives. So we are definitely, city friendly, biker friendly. And the thing of it is with the commissioner, with Kim, and when we came on a few years ago, we wanted to let the bikers in this city know that the city is not ignoring you, that the city does care for you. And I can tell you now, from 2018 to this present moment, the city has shown that, and we have grown into a very cohesive unit, working together as the Motorcycle Advisory Council. And so we want all bikers and all pedestrians, all we call cages, that's those of you who drive vehicles, cars, please look out for us. It's important. 55 deaths is too many deaths. We originally got together because the ideology was to make sure that we diminish the amount of deaths, motorcycle deaths on the road. But it's not just about motorcyclists, anybody, bicyclists, pedestrians. We want to make sure people are safe doing what they love doing, regardless of what that is, as long as it's, somebody say legal. I didn't hear y'all. Somebody say legal. Legal, yes. The object is that we want to be legal. This is why we have our papers right. That means we have licenses. That means we're inspected. That means that we take care of our motorcycles. And as the inspector said, we do something every year. It's called a T-clock. And that's what the inspector was talking to you about. Tires, your clutches, your gears, your oil, your kickstand. These are all safety devices on your motorcycle. So those are the things that we do for bikers every single year. And I am the president of 5 boroughs here. So we represent all bikers in all 5 boroughs. And this is what we are especially designed to do. And I thank you all. I thank the commissioner. I thank Kim. I tell you, that's my sister. All right, she's worked with us wholeheartedly. And we're so glad. We were rough at first. Right? It was rough at first. But when we finally came to the understanding that the object is to save lives and to make biking safer, that's when we got together, and now we are one great cohesive unit, so I appreciate it. I appreciate our commissioner also, and I've been on many platforms with this man right here, who is a wonderful individual, both him and our mayor, Eric Adams. So again, thank you. Please support us. Please look out for us. I cannot stress that more. Please look out for us.
The life you save might be mine.
Thanks.
Yeah, this will be to anyone who wants to answer it. How in a city with such extreme traffic congestion can motorcycle riding ever be safe?
Be safe.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. New York City is a place only 350 square mile. And we are 8.6 million people. And last year we got 62 million tourists, 12 million more in 23 than when we have in 22. There's construction going on everywhere. Most people rely on public transportation. Only 1.8 million New Yorkers have vehicles. So what we know is that New Yorkers deserve to have different mode of transportation. We had a great transportation system, the MTA, the largest transportation system in the whole nation, one of the largest one in the whole world. We don't pay by distance when we take the train. It's a flat fare. You know, we are 24 hours. But also New Yorkers have the right to enjoy. We have a nice view. Like if you ride a bicycle or a motorcycle, like it's a beautiful place to be around the city. So our responsibility in this case at DOT is to oversee 27% of the land of the city. Our mission is to organize those land, the space, for everyone to use it. For the construction, to move the trucks, the vehicle, to bring all the things that they need to build. For our buses to be safe and efficient with the bus lane. So now we are widening the bike lane. You know, we know that 80% of New Yorkers, they are ordering placing order through online once a week. 22%, they're placing order 4 times a week. So we have to dedicate, now we are doing 10th Avenue, 3rd Avenue, now 2nd Avenue, widening the space for cyclists and for pedal assistant bikes. So yes, like there's always a challenge, but we feel that with good group at the advisory here that they are teaching, they are the role model of how to ride safe. And in the infrastructure, like with Mayor Adams, we put in the money where it's needed in order to have safe infrastructure.
But my question is motorcycle riding in the city ever going to be safe?
You could have a snack.
Well, the answer to the question is this: consideration and cooperation. We cooperate with the city, with the police department, and they cooperate with us. So we're also a legislative group, so we lobby to get laws changed so our streets are better. If the streets are better, as the commissioner said, then it's safer for us to ride. We don't have to worry about the potholes as much. We have to look out for them all the time. And if we cooperate, which is why we educate, the object is to educate everybody about what everyone else is doing. So if you know what I'm doing as a biker, then you will look out for me more. If I know what you're doing as a driver, then I know to look out for you. These are things that we do. So cooperation, and it's a must. So if we cooperate, we can get things done. I'll just say this quickly. Some of you may notice that sometimes you see what we call white lining or lane splitting, all right, or filtering. And as I said earlier, sometimes motorcyclists do that because the bikes will overheat because they're not liquid cooled. So in Colorado, which just passed it, in California, which has it, it's legal. Lane splitting is legal. That's something that we're working towards now to see if we can get the legislation changed. Lane splitting is when you see a motorcyclist come down the middle on the white lines in between the cars. That's what
Filtering
that
to the
is.
front of
We
the
call
light.
it filtering. So
At a
we
red
come up.
light.
Is that something the police department wants?
Well, here's the situation. Again, it's okay. Yes, I'll let them answer. But it's one of the ways that other states have made it safer for motorcyclists. So yes, we can ride safe.
Respect of the road and each other on the road.
So we don't get involved in what policy is legal or not. That's something for the state legislators. You know, we simply enforce the law. But as been said up here, as I said in my remarks, you know, the whole point of this is outreach and communication and making sure that if everybody's doing their part, you know, collectively, we could reduce collisions and fatalities.
And again, like from the 55 days that we have, only 13 of those motorcyclists, they have the proper license. So can we leave a day where everyone is safe? Yes. There's a role model. People can look at it. Tomorrow, go to Randers Island, learn the skills of how to be safe motorcycle cyclists here. Anybody else from the media? No, this is only more. We didn't include the mopeds here. This is only for this purpose. It's only about the motorcycles one. No, this is only. Sorry, this is only motorcycle. From the 55 that we are sharing today, and only 13 of those, they have the proper license. So on the question, can we be safe? Yes. But there's three things that we need to do. One is be sure that everyone who get into the motorcycle, they need to have the insurance. They need to have the license. They need to learn the skills. That's one. Second, they should know that there's enforcement in New York City. Like as the weather is turning warmer, like communities say, we want to be sure that those individuals that they don't have the proper license, they should not be in the street. So this is the second thing. And the third thing is about, the street belongs to everyone. So everyone has the right to use it, including those who have motorcycles. Sorry.
I think we're done.
Thank you.